Happy Valentine's month, everybody. I'm the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to share with you some of my favorite Valentine's Day episodes from TV shows or even movies. Not everything is all lovey-dovey. Sometimes Valentine's Days deal with heartache and everything. So, some episodes will be romantic and lovey-dovey, while others will be very sad and heart-wrenching and stuff. But love is love. It doesn't always come with smiles and giggles and glee. So, I'm here today to talk to you about Clueless, Season 1, Episode 18, Secret and Lies. Love is all up in the air in this Valentine's Day special episode. And Clueless is a show I talked about once before, last year. No. 2 years ago, I think. And so, it's funny because about 2 or 3 years ago, I actually recorded audio for Clueless, the television show, but I never had a chance ever to do the picture templates and stuff and upload it. Next month I will, though. And so Clueless was a really cool show, and it was on two completely different networks. First ABC, then when it got kind of canceled, it went on over to UPN. And when it went to UPN, they had a completely different setting, different writers, and it felt completely different. The first season had this upbeat feel, colorful vibe to it, whereas the second season had more of a realistic, dramatized type style. Everything the second season just completely changed. And so with the first season, it felt a bit more like the movies. Now, a lot of people were upset that Alicia Silverstone did not come back for the television show because she was in the movie. She just did a commercial for Rakuten with her and the actress who plays Amber. And boy, she did not miss a beat. It was so cool to see her in that role again. However, she did get recast for the television show with Rachel. I forget her last name, starts with a B. But I like Rachel and everything as the new Cher. A lot of people didn't. Mainly because, they just had more of a connection to Alicia. They both act completely different for the series. Rachel was more sweet-hearted and soft-spoken. But I think she did a really good job. And it really sucks when people keep trying to compare the two and stuff. And it just kind of just enjoy the show for what it is. But I understand why people keep trying to compare and stuff. But Rachel's been Cher a whole lot longer than Alicia. So truly, she is the real Cher and everything. And so with this episode, like I said before, love is in the air. It's Valentine's Day, and Cher and Dion are selling heart candies, lollipops and stuff to give to your secret admirer and this and that. With this episode, boy, I tell you, it took me back, boy. It reminds me just how much I used to love this show growing up. The personalities are all different. However, I have been wondering if this is truly connected to that of the movie or it's just its own separate thing. Because originally it's supposed to be kind of like a spinoff, but when you hear my rundown review, you understand why this is a completely separate entity from that of the movie. For starters, in this, there's a revelation that happens, which doesn't make sense because this character didn't even know who this person was in the movie. And so, I'll get into that a little bit later. And so, with this episode, Amber is getting lollipops from a secret admirer. She has no idea who it is, and it's frustrating her because she just wants the person to come up and tell her. It's even to the point where there's a musical montage of her almost like Fred Astaire type thing where, Marilyn Monroe type thing where she's all dolled out. There's all these male dancers in tuxes and she's just dancing around a giant heart and everything in a song. And it's really cool and everything. Now, this episode you can find on YouTube. That's the only place you're going to find this show. This show is not in reruns no more, and also it's on no streaming site, and it never came out on DVD. So Amber whole story arc is that she's just irritated and thinking, she doesn't know who it is. So she's constantly just running up to random people. She runs up to this one nerdy guy and she's all like, there's a height requirement and this and that. And then she tells another guy, like, if you try to date me, you can't shop at a place that has the word Barnes in it. Like Pottery Barn or something like that. And so, like, towards the end of the episode, it's finally revealed who it is. He's like a hunky type guy, and very preppy looking. But she does not believe it's genuine. She believes that Dion and Cher set this whole thing up, and she just completely blows this dude off while he's still pandering after her. Cher is dating this one guy, and it's played by James Madison, I think his name is. He does a lot of voice work. He was the voice for Peter Pan and Peter Pan and the Pirates. He was the voice of Bart Allen, Impost from Young Justice. He does a lot of voice stuff, and so he's just in this episode barely. They date and everything, and then when it gets to the point where she's all like, "Oh no, I should have told you, like, all the people I dated back in the day." So she writes him this huge list, and he's all like, "Oh, what's in the past is in the past." And then he rips it up, but when she leaves, he goes and he starts looking at all the people she dated in the past. The two teachers are all lovey-dovey and everything, and that's so sweet. This is back when the teachers were in the show. Even her father, Mel, who also been recast, he is in love with somebody. Now, he gets a phone call from his ex-wife, Josh's mother. Now, Josh is still in this show, but he's been recast as well, but he acts completely different. He's more slightly dorkish and everything than the Paul Rudd character, and he's has a bit of a shy side to him. And so, like, him and Cher think that, oh no, both their parents are going to get back together, and they don't want that, But he's still living there with them, which has always been kind of weird. Now, he's not in the second season, so he's only in the first. And him and Cher are no longer dating at the end of the movie, and they don't really make no reference to it, which makes me think that the movie is set in a different continuity. But there's another reason why. So, it turns out Mel actually got his secretary, the lollipop heart and everything, this older lady. Well, he's older too. And so, like, now it gets to the main part of why it's called Secret and Lies. So, the main episode actually deals with that of Dion, Sean, and Murray. And so, Sean and Murray are best friends, and Dion and Murray are dating, just like they were in the movie. Now, Sean was barely in the movie. He makes just a cameo shaving that of Murray's head, which Dion did not know who Sean was, which is now making me think that, this is not set in the same continuity. Well, anyways, Cher is talking to Murray, right? And she lets it slip that Dion and Sean dated back in the day. Murray had no idea, and he is furious that his best friend and his girlfriend did not tell him. So he confronts both of them, and of course they're all pissed at Cher, except for Murray and everything. So Dion does not want to talk to her best friend Cher no more, and it breaks Cher's heart. So she's trying to find a way to fix that, So Murray wants to know what's up, what happened back in the day. And so both of the characters recount their viewpoint of how the date went. And it's hilarious. So they both exaggerate in everything. Sean's all like, "Oh yeah, she tried to get me in her place to, to get it on and stuff like that." And so Dion's all like, he tried to like all slobber kiss me and everything, and I wasn't interested. So he's all like, "One of y'all are lying." So he tries to like drive off, and the most hilarious thing happens. Sean's all like, "Dude, we only got 3 periods left," so he has to drive back and everything. And so like, Sean and him, they later make up when he like apologized, talking about, I didn't, because both of them didn't even know Murray at that time. And so it was fair game, you know what I'm saying? And they just didn't want to bring it up because it was only like a one-time type thing. And so they all make up towards like, the end. And so at the very, very end of the episode, we finally get to see what happened on that real date. So basically, they're both being like, minding their manners and everything. And she's just all like, do you want to come in? And she didn't say it in no horny way like Sean thought it. And he's all like, nah, thanks. And then so they give each other like a kiss on the cheek. And in both of their heads, you can hear what the other person is thinking. And they both just wasn't into that kiss on the cheek, and they're just both not into each other. And so then Murray narrates at the end, if they both would have told him that, then it would have never, ever, ended in them all like arguing and fighting and stuff. But to make it up, Sean washed and waxed his car. So he got a little benefit from that, And so, like, it makes you stop and wonder, like, how would you feel if you knew your best friend dated your ex? Like, that's something that, even if it was in the past and before y'all knew each other, that's still weird, especially if y'all was like knocking boots and stuff like that. Because it makes you now wonder, like, who does that person truly like more? Because it's going to be like competition. And does that person still have feelings for them? So I totally understand why he's getting pissed off, mad and stuff. Because anything could be floating around in their head because they hang out constantly and stuff, And so that's one of those hard things that where you never date your ex, and if you do date somebody, break up, and your friends kind of like interested, whatnot, you gotta let that person know. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just gonna cause problems down the long run. Now, some people can be mature and be like, I don't care, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But not especially when you're in high school, and this is in a high school setting, even though they're fully grown adults playing high schoolers, and they look like they're in college and stuff. That's one of the things that bugged me a lot. Like, I get the movie was in high school, but when it came to the TV show, maybe in the first season you can pull off their high schooler, maybe seniors at the most. But by the second season, you just looked at them and it's all like, nah, something don't look right. Like, y'all just look too old to be playing high school. Should have been set in college and stuff. Now, wasn't that romantic? Or depressing, depending on what kind of video I just talked about. Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And bye.